When I was 18 years old, I met a man who claimed to be the devil. My life has not been the same since. I used to live in small town in Nebraska, been the only child, and having only my mom to raise me, that means I had to get a job to support her. I was still in high school when I worked part-time job at a family-owned restaurant. My days were pretty much boring back then. I wake up, go to school, after school, I go to my part-time job. I was a quiet kid back then. The only person I talked to besides my mom was my girlfriend, Rebecca. Oh, did I forget to mention I had a girlfriend? But we can save that story for later. My so-called reality changed on July 6, 1996. Somehow on this day, the restaurant was not as busy as it used to be. All I had to do on this day was take orders at the register. The line was not that long. There was a middle-aged woman and a young man in a doctor uniform. After him, there was another man, a man in black suit and black hat. He was tall. He almost looked like he is not from the town I lived in. When I looked up the line, taking an order from the woman in front of the line, I noticed the man wearing the black suit was looking at me, his eyes focused on me. He let a little smile. When he noticed that I was looking at him, his eyes, I can feel them, is like he was staring at my soul. After the woman and the doctor finished with their orders, it was the man in black suit turn. When he got close to me, I felt this heavy energy. It felt like everything around me was somehow different. The man had a different smell. It's not a bad smell. He smelled like he put on a lavender cologne. Without looking at the menu, the man said,
"I will have number 6, with everything comes with it, please."
"Is that all?" I asked. Without answering my question, the man just walked away and sat on table number 6. You know what they say, the devil is in the details. Back then, I didn't think none of it. This strange man shows up in this restaurant July 6th. He orders number 6, and somehow he chose to sit on table 6. You see where I am going with this? But back then, I didn't pay attention to the details that were right in front of me. The man sat on table staring ahead of the table he was sitting on, not bothering to look around the restaurant even once. It almost looked like he was looking at someone invisible that is sitting in front of him. After 15 minutes, the man's order was done. I took his plate and started walking to table number 6. As I got closer, I just kept feeling this weird feeling, like something is off. When I put down the man's plate, the man looked at me with same smile he had when he was waiting to get his order.
It is pretty sad. Humans, they rely on food and water just to gain energy and strength, just so they can survive. Am I right, Zach?
Before I walked away from the table, I turned and looked at the man with concern and confused face, hoping that at any moment he will say, "I'm just kidding." But the man's face looked more serious than I can imagine. At this restaurant, we've seen a lot of customers talks like they have life figured it out. He is just another one, so I thought. But wait, how the hell does he know my name? I couldn't help but ask the man, "How the hell do you know my name?"
I know a lot about you, Zach, more than you know about yourself.
I looked at the register line and noticed the line is getting longer since I'm the only one taking orders. I figured I don't have time for whatever this man in the suit talking about or selling. "Listen, I don't have time for this," I said. Before I could walk towards the register, the man said,
"Time does not exist in my world."
The man in black suit snapped his finger. Then to my shock and surprise, everyone around me froze. There was no sound coming from our side, the restaurant. The people in the restaurant were frozen like a statue. The only movement or sound I heard and saw was me and the man in black suit. I noticed I couldn't move, but I can hear and see everything. It almost felt like the world stood still. The only people exist is me and the man in the black suit. As I was standing froze, like a statue by table number 6, I saw the man getting up from the table. He stood up right in front of me. This time something was different. His eyes, they were red. They almost looked like his eyeballs were made of fire flames. There was another thing I noticed. His face was not human. His face was like skeleton, his cheekbones showing more than I remember seeing him earlier. He looked like the angel of death, even though I couldn't move. Inside my mind, I was screaming for someone to come and help.
but we both know it was no use since I couldn't move or make a sound. The man extended his hand in front of me. To my surprise, a calm fire manifested out of thin air. The fire formed itself in a square shape. After the fire disappeared, a letter with some ancient writing and sigil symbol appeared in the man's hand. Then he said,
I have an offer that will change your boring and meaningless life. An offer that will make you immortal, unstoppable, powerful, and much more. You will gain the knowledge and power to walk between the spirit realm and this reality you live in. Humans, they have a habit of attaching themselves to material things such as money, cars, house, just so they can give their meaningless life a meaning. But these material things that your kind are obsessed with, they bring the worst in the minds of your kind, Zach. I am offering you an opportunity to where you will live free from this cycle of slavery. You will no longer be in a position to where you are in need of such useless material things. I want you to be one of my agents. All you have to do is take this letter, draw this symbol using your blood, and say the words written in this letter 6 times.
He said. The man in black suit he then came closer and stared at me in my eyes like he was somehow hypnotizing me. Well, maybe he did, because after he stopped staring into my eyes, to my surprise, I wasn't afraid or terrified anymore. For some reason, I was calm. And also this time I can move and speak. The rest of the people in that restaurant were still in a froze mode. I let out a gasping air, not believing what's happening to me. I started backing away slowly, as the man just stood there watching me process whatever is happening. Then I stopped. I needed to know who or what this man in the black suit is, and what he means by be one of my agents. With shaking voice, who? What are you? I asked.
See, this is exactly my point. Your lack of knowledge will slowly dumb you down after everything you have seen or heard. Your question is, who am I? If that's what you want to know, so be it. I go by many names, depends what you believe in. Some they call me Shaitan, some they call me Jinn, some they even call me Lucifer. You humans are so clueless. I prefer the Prince of Darkness. Even though some humans claim to see me or talk to me, they just don't know how wrong they are. You must be worthy to be in my presence. This is not my true form, but I have to put on this pathetic human form so your mind can stay at ease. I can be whatever or whomever I want. I once turned myself into snake. Did you know cats they don't even know? You humans call them cats. You humans always giving titles in order to give meaning to something. Anyways, let me cut to the chase. What do you say about my offer, Zach? You don't have time. But like I say, time do not exist in my world.
I am sorry, but I will pass on that offer, I said nervously. One thing I know is that nothing is free. Besides, I didn't even know what was happening at the moment. Nothing seemed real. But as I'm writing this story today, I wish none of it was real. After declining the Prince of Darkness's offer, he came closer this time. I can almost feel his energy changed in disappointment. But somehow he also smiled like he knew I was going to say no to his offer. Then the man in the black, well, the Prince of Darkness, he pointed his index finger on my forehead. To my surprise, I saw a vision of a woman sitting on a couch. The woman was talking to someone on the phone. This woman, short, blonde hair. She looked familiar. So is the couch she was sitting on. This woman was my mom. She sounded so sad. She was on the phone with a doctor. The doctor's voice also sounded familiar. It was our family doctor. Please take care of Zach for me, my mom said. Then the doctor replied saying, I'm sorry we couldn't treat you sooner. Does Zach know? The doctor asked. No, my mom replied. Then the Prince of Darkness, he pulled his index finger away from my forehead. The vision of my mom stopped. I was in shock. I couldn't hold my tears. My mom was dying right in front of me, and I didn't even know. While I was standing there in shock, processing what I just saw, the Prince of Darkness stepped back and put the letter he had in his pocket. Then he said,
See, I don't think I made myself clear. This is not just an offer you can refuse. This was a deal, a contract made by your family long time ago, and now it is time to keep that promise. That deal I was promised by your family. Your mother, she is dying. She has 3 days left. The doctors, they think it is cancer, but I assure you, Zach, is much more than cancer. However you can save her, she don't have to die. That depends on you. I will give you till tomorrow to make up your mind. And one more thing, ask your mom about your father.
The Prince of Darkness snapped his fingers again. Then he disappeared out of thin air. Everyone in the restaurant that was froze started moving. Everyone seemed to just move on and continue to do what they was doing, like they wasn't froze like a statue. I guess I'm the only one noticed, I thought to myself. As I was standing by table 6 just staring at the untouched plate I served to the Prince of Darkness, someone called out my name. It was my boss. "What you doing? You been standing there for a minute," he said. I was still in shock. I asked my boss if he seen the man on table 6 disappear, or if he felt anything weird. My boss said, "No, the man left a minute ago. He said he didn't have time, he paid with tip. He walked out the door and you just been looking at his plate." "Are you okay?" my boss asked. "I am okay," I said. No one would believe me if I tell them what happened. Looks like the Prince of Darkness showed everyone a different reality. A reality to when he left the restaurant walking peacefully to the door. But that is not what I saw. I asked my boss if I can take the day off. My boss said, "Go ahead, we not busy today, we got it." When I got in my car to go see my mother, I can't help but think what the Prince of Darkness showed me. Why my mother never told me she is dying. And who the hell was my father? I started the car so I can go talk to my mom and ask her who the hell is the man in the black suit. Because one thing for sure, I will do anything to save my mom, even if I have to sell my soul.
Thank you for listening and opening your imagination into this story. Please subscribe. We will post part 2 and also the previous stories from our old channel.